Welcome back to the podcast. This week's guest is David Stevens of up-and-coming Scottish band Dovv. I spoke to David about his music career to date, his early life growing up, and what he's doing now, which includes cutting hair for a living. David was a fantastic guest, and if you get the chance, you should go and check out his band Dovv. I'll post all the links to his band in the show notes so as you can check them out. I hope you all enjoy the podcast, and I'll be back again soon with another fantastic guest. Right. Thank you very much, David Stevens, frontman of Dovv. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. We'll just get a wee chat about your life growing up, how you get into music, and where you see yourself going, blah, 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 all that shit.
Brilliant.
So,
sounds great.
Fire away, tell us about yourself, what life is like for you growing up.
Well, I was always somebody that was kind of interested in music, even when I was quite young. Sort of grown up in that kind of musical family as well. So my mum sings, both my grandparents were singers on my mum's side, and my great-grandfather as well. He's sort of totally different style right enough. He was more like a sort of Harry Seacombe kind of character.
Right.
But had this big massive voice, as did like my gran. She was in like soul and Motown.
Mm-hmm.
And my granddad, he was like a massive Johnny Cash and Roy Orbison fan. So that's where I got those influences from.
Yeah.
But growing up, music was on all the time. In the house. If it wasn't like sort of old school rock and roll, it was like soul, Sam Cooke and stuff like that, you know. And Nina Simone. It was brilliant.
You're a brilliant musicians as well. And for a young boy at that age as well, it's maybe a bit different to hear that sort of music. So what sort of music were you into at that time?
What sort of stuff was I into?
Well, you and your friends, obviously. What sort of...
Oh, that was mental. It was like my mates were all listening to absolute terrible stuff. It was like Westlife and that. You know, my sister and me, we're 2 years and 5 days apart. So on our birthday, on the 14th of July, it was like Westlife, Boyzone, the Venga Boys, Steps. Whereas came my birthday and I'm sitting there listening to Kenny Rogers or something. She hated it. I had this old Jim Reeves album in the house that I got off my granddad. I used to play it back to front all the time. Thought it was great. Country music was just something that I found fascinating.
I mean, I had a next door neighbour. She was the same age as me. She was in the same class as me at school, and our families were close. And she was right into Elvis. And I thought it was like an uncool thing to like at that time. I was into Britpop and Elvis. And see, like now, kind of Elvis is brilliant. And I mean, Elvis is, I can't believe how much of dismissed in the past. So I might need to start for door and see if I can get some of their records to give a whirl.
Definitely, I've got some in the cupboard. You're welcome to them. Like, that was another thing. Like growing up, ended up getting all these records and stuff. Like my stepdad's auntie, she was a bit of a hoarder, as was his granddad. So he used to convert vinyl to tape.
Right.
All this stuff. He had these big reels in the house and all the rest of it. So I've ended up with all these sort of original first edition Elvis records for like Sun Records and stuff. It's brilliant. I don't play them anymore, like, because I'm always scared I'll scratch them or something.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just class to have that physical thing.
Yeah.
What's that?
It must be worth a little bit. Stuff like that.
They will be. It's one of the things. I'm a massive Elvis fan. I always kind of was. And then sort of growing up, meeting pals as well that were really interested in that stuff, like Darren Forbes, the Shambolics. He's a massive Elvis fan. Neil lived, a couple of streets away. So we used to sit in the summer with a guitar and learn these songs. And before he played guitar, he used to come round and come play that song again. That's all right, Mum. Mystery Train. And then it wasn't long after that he was dying to play. So got him kitted out. He had an old acoustic up the attic. We sat and restrung it one summer's day in the house.
Brilliant.
And got him sorted.
Brilliant. So obviously at school and stuff like that, then what were your aspirations? Did you know early on that you wanted to get into music and play music?
I always wanted to sing. It was one of them. I definitely knew that I wanted to sing, but I didn't know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of them. So I ended up like just dodging away and sort of singing at family parties and stuff when I was a kid.
Right.
I never really thought much of it until I ended up randomly, one of my mates played drums. So I went to the YMCA down in Kirkcaldy and decided, right, what's this all about? And met a guy called Mark Burdett
Right.
that I play in a duo with sometimes as well. And it was literally, well, if you're looking to start a band, somebody needs to sing. A couple of my mates had maybe heard Taylor, he sings sometimes in the house or whatever. So I was chucked in at the deep end, right, you're the singer then. But we're going to get you playing guitar as well. So I met Mark, that was about 15 years ago. I was only 12. And that was it. So I ended up going every week, twice a week, taking guitar lessons off him, learning the craft and going for it. And he's like my best mate now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I see your posts nearly every week. You're playing with him nearly every weekend or whatever.
Aye, definitely. And I'm still to see someone he'll never say it, but he's probably the best musician I've ever met.
Yeah.
But he's so modest and humble. But he's a great guy, really talented. Cover any genre you like, he can play it, and he can play it exceptionally well. But he was a massive influence as well. Just taught me a lot of things, not even just how to play guitar and bits and pieces of singing and stuff, but just how the industry sort of works and how it can be the greatest place on earth, but it could always also be like the worst place on earth sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Be careful with certain things and stuff because he'd been through it all himself.
Mm-hmm. So is he a bit older than yourself?
Yeah, Mark will be. He's a bit older than me. I better not tell you his age. He'll probably kill me. But he's a great guy, really great guy, and he's originally from Leeds as well, but he moved up here when he was in his early 20s. Mm-hmm. And he was he had a management deal and stuff at the time, and he was going to South by Southwest in America, and he was playing up and down the place. He later went on to be in a band called Brady Cole that supported the Foo Fighters and stuff a few times. And
right.
He's done it all. Like he's been all over the place playing.
Yeah. It must be good to have somebody like that then that you can kind of get
definitely
and bounce ideas off and stuff.
Definitely. He never he's quite an open book in that sense. He would let me pick his brains about anything. Mm-hmm. And it's really handy, as you say, to have somebody like that you can depend on if you get stuck in a bit of a ruckus. Ask him a bit of advice, and 9 times out of 10 he's got the answer. Usually tell him where to go.
That's brilliant. So first steps into music, then obviously you started this. What happened first? Then just were you doing solo stuff yourself? And
I was playing in a band just with some mates, and we never really thought much of it. We'd done a couple of small gigs, and my first gig was on my own, an acoustic night when I was I was about 13. Sat there with this big massive guitar, just a wee lad, at this acoustic night in the local, and I think I'd done one of my own tracks. It's called "I'll Be There," and I'd done a Johnny Cash cover. And like it was relatively busy, and everybody was older than me that was playing. There was like people playing like John Martin and stuff, this fancy bits and pieces. I only knew 3 chords, so it was. But I think it was totally different. I remember people coming up to me and like, "Jesus Christ, you're only like a kid, and you've got this old man's voice coming out of there." Because it's never really changed. It's always been really deep and older sounding. But I've never really complained about that. I quite like it. There was people in the past just to me, you've got that sort of old school vibrato thing going on, like it's quite operatic, or it's a bit like Roy Orbison, Elvis kind of vibe. I'm like, aye, yeah, definitely, that's what I like. You need to get rid of that.
It is completely different, though.
Aye, definitely.
And it's something that makes you stand out.
That's not, to me, it's not a bad thing. I quite like it. If I tried to do anything else, it wouldn't be me. I'm not interested in sounding like, I don't know.
So what, the only other voice, like, you sound like kind of new artist that I think you sound like, and you covered them in one of your Facebook covers, Johnny Skinner. Johnny Skinner is like Johnny Skinner is one of the greatest singers I've ever heard, and obviously there's not a lot of people know much about him, which I think is criminal. Johnny Skinner should be everywhere. So I mean, how did you come?
Johnny's the man.
Is that just through gigging that you knew Johnny?
No, it's a really strange story. So one of my good friends, Callum Trainer, he's pretty much ran the Fife scene for years. PJ Malloy's and putting on bands and give me some amazing opportunities over the years to support like Blossoms, Catfish and the Bottlemen, Glas Vegas. Had this on with loads of different folk. It was brilliant. But it was it last year or the year before, he sent me some of Johnny's stuff. He was like, "Don't tell him I've sent you this because it's like a demo or something." He was like, "But Dovv," he says, you would love this. He says, right up your street. He says, it actually sounds like some of the stuff you do.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, who's this? So I put it on. Automatically, I was like, bloody hell. So where's this guy been? So I ended up linking in with him and stuff on social media and sort of says to him, I was like, get back playing because you've got an incredible talent that shouldn't be missed, really.
Yeah. I think that's the same message I send him every 6 months.
Yep. I'll bet. And we'll not be the only ones that send him it either. But I know he's supporting Las Vegas, isn't he, at the Barrowlands?
Yeah, on the 17th of December. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That's right. Yeah. That'll be incredible. We're going to try and get along to that gig as well.
I had Rob Allen on the podcast 10, 15 episodes back, and I mentioned it to him as well. I says, if Johnny Skinner's not going to do solo gigs, is there no chance that he could just become like the 4th member of Las Vegas? I think he would suit that so well too. So we'll see what happens with that.
Aye, Rob's brand new as well, eh? What a guy. Yeah. They're probably one of the nicest bands we've ever supported for Las Vegas. Really accommodating. And their parents and stuff as well. Lovely people.
Yeah, it seems like a big family band. When I seen a picture of them, it was like an anniversary like 5 years ago or something, and the full touring, like everybody that was involved, it just looked like a big family.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and that's a good way to have it. Good way to have it as well. But they're really good lads. If we're ever in Glasgow and stuff, Rob and stuff sometimes popped in. They're brand new. I used to get them mixed up all the time, Rob and James. It was terrible. It was really bad. It was quite embarrassing actually outside. They came Rav came and seen us playing in broadcast in Sauchiehall Street. I must have called him James about 5 times before he told me he was a high Dovv. No bother. My name's Rab, though. That's just me doing it a T. I'm absolutely terrible with names. I'll bump into people all the time, and they're like, "Oh, hi, how's it going?" And I'm like, "Aye, no bad, pal, mate. How's it going, buddy? Aye, everything." I'm like, "Who the hell are they?" And then I'll bring my mate over, and I'm like, "Aye, you should introduce yourself." And I'm like, "Oh, aye, hi, my name's Stuart or whatever." And I'm like, right, kind of mastered getting around it now.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same as that. I done it to the same guy twice in the space of a weekend. I never recognised him on the Friday. I made a real ass of myself, and I got up the road, and I was like, "Oh, I know who that is," and I messaged him. I said, "Look, I'm really sorry. I was just kind of a bit away with it." And then 2 days later, I was out in the pub, and he came up and shook my hand, and I was like, "Mate, I don't know who you are," and it was the same guy. So I
said that to somebody once, and they told me I was arrogant and rude. I was like, I just can't remember everybody's name, mate. I would have taken it offence. I meet hundreds of folk every week. Yeah, and I was like, if I'm gigging or whatever, and there's a room full of, I don't know, like a minimum of 50 folk, I'm not going to remember everybody. Unless they make a lasting impression by, I don't know, doing a backflip or something. Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm terrible with names.
Obviously, I mentioned the Facebook covers. You seem to be doing a lot of them. I don't know if that was during lockdown. You were doing like maybe one a week, and they were Roy Orbison, Cash, stuff like that. How did that get done?
I went through a lot of different. I really enjoyed it for a start. Like a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, you know, got me through lockdown with the truck you were putting up and your live sessions and stuff." But and that's really appreciated because that's kind of why I was doing it as well. Because I knew people were sitting in the house bored to tears, not knowing what to do with themselves when they would usually be out at a gig somewhere. And it was one of my mates said, "Look," he says, "nobody's doing any of these live streams or anything yet." He says, "Get yourself on it." It took a bit of figuring out, I'm not going to lie. But I got there eventually, and like just, it was a case of just sitting in the house with my guitar, singing away, sometimes playing a bit of keys or whatever. Had my laptop set up, folk would chuck requests in and whatnot. But it done me the world of good because I was going daft, sitting in the house, not knowing what to do myself, losing my mind slowly but surely. But it was great, and that's kind of when I think to myself, I'm quite lucky that we've got like social media and stuff. During that time, it was a really good thing.
Yeah, because you were involved in the Look of All Peace thing as well, the sofa sing along and stuff like that, weren't you? I mean, there was some good
on that. Aye, that was great.
Yeah,
Luke's a great lad as well. I remember the first time I heard him in Bathgate, a place called the Attic. Michael Ward put us on with Tijuana Bibles, and Luke opened the gig, and I was like, I'm going to go and watch this guy, see what he's all about. He came out with this big, massive voice. I was like, Jesus Christ, and it was like, I was absolutely nuts. It was like hearing a modern Sinatra or something. He's a really talented lad, great vocal. I listened to him quite a lot as well, sort of message him back and forth. But he's a good lad, really good lad.
Touching back on, like, obviously what you said, you started out quite young, like 12, 13, which seems to be quite common now. Like, you get Connor Fife, he's a young boy, he's been playing gigs for a while. But I can, like, the first kind of young band to come out, can you mind the Stripes? They seem to be the first one, and then there seems to be a lot more of it happening now, and there seems to be a lot of like the Johnny Cash influence stuff, like Dylan John Thomas has done that, and kind of Look evolved to an extent, and yourself. So do you think that kind of lends itself? Johnny Cash songs quite easy to kind of get your head in, and
definitely, it's a story. So I think the easy part is learning the song because they're only ever 3 chords, which is fine, you know, and they're relatively easy to play. But it's just getting behind the lyrics and actually meaning, like trying to tell that story that he's telling.
Yeah.
Because it was never really about the music. It was all about the lyrics and the you know, the vocal for him. But it is quite easy to do. But I think a lot of people are going back to that sort of the roots, sort of this 50s, 60s music.
Yeah, it's definitely all the rage at the moment. It's definitely coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I always say to people as well, if they want to be, if they want to sing or whatever, that in order to be a decent singer, you need to listen to decent singers. I think, like, one of the guys in the band, I've been helping him out a bit with some singing and stuff. And he's saying, he's like, what about, like, Liam Gallagher was an amazing singer in the 90s. It's like, I don't think Liam Gallagher was ever a great singer, if I'm completely honest. But he's great at what he does, and getting it across is great. He was, you know, he's just a working class lad.
Yeah, I mean, Liam Gallagher's a frontman.
It's brilliant. But I keep saying to him, I'm like, didn't go out there with a vision to sound like Liam Gallagher, because there is another million people out there trying to do it.
Yeah.
So you need to just be yourself. Liam Gallagher never, you know, he never went out and says, "Oh, I want to sound like whatever." He's got that John Lennon influence in there, but you know, he kind of done his own thing as well, and that's what made it original. And there's never going to be like another Oasis, because that's what Oasis were, and they were class, they were brilliant, one of the best bands to come out of Britain. But I always try and say to folk, like, do your own thing. Try not to, you know, try and sound like someone else, because if you're doing that, people could kind of see through it a bit, and it comes across a wee bit fake.
Yeah, but definitely.
Then again, so do I take my own advice? Sometimes not. I'm not kidding you. I've definitely ripped off Springsteen with Backstreet's To Your Mind. That's for sure. I wasn't until I went back and listened through one of his latest albums. I thought, Christ almighty, David, you really need to rethink that a wee bit. But it's one of them. You're always going to take influence for your idols.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, like, if you wear your heart on your sleeve with the stuff you do, there's no shame in showing your influence. No. How did then Dovv come about? How did that become a thing?
So beforehand, I was with a band for about 8 years called Oscar Braves, and we done some amazing stuff. You know, for their first gig was supporting Catfish and the Bottlemen. We played the Blossoms, Father Son, Las Vegas, up and down the country, playing everywhere, and it was amazing. That's what really changed it for me. So when I was younger and stuff, I was sort of trying to fight through to think, right, how do I actually get onto this sort of gigging scene and music scene that everybody's speaking about? And I tried many different avenues, and eventually I played with a band before Oscar Braves, and we supported them. And the guitarist was singing at the time. They were called Radio Arcades, and that was in the Windsor in Kirkcaldy. I heard them. I thought, God, they've got a massive wall of sound that was like U2 or something. It was class, absolutely brilliant, very 80s influenced. And then we ended up supporting them again in PJ's in Dunfermline at PJ Malloy's. And it wasn't long after that, it was maybe about 3 weeks later, I got a message from one of the guys saying, look, we've got you guys in, do you want to come along for a jam, see what you think of the songs, bring your guitar? So I did, went along, it was great. We managed to nail a set together, got it written. Grant was an amazing songwriter. which helped. And I sort of put some melodies in there and stuff. And then that was by February, March, April time, we supported Catfish and the Bottlemen. And there was a band dropped out of a competition in Dunfermline called Make Your Mark. So it was like, if you won, you got an EP recorded, a tour put together, and all sorts. But we were just like, everybody was like, who the hell are these guys that have just appeared out of nowhere? But we were really lucky, got ourselves, everything came together really quickly. We ended up winning it. So that kind of went in our favour. We done a tour, got that under our belt, recorded an EP. And, you know, it was brilliant. We just went constant, kept gigging. I took a break for a wee while. And then we rebranded for Oscar to Oscar Braves. One of the members left and stuff. He was away to stay with his brother in Texas. And we gigged on for years to come, up until lockdown happened. And then after it was like, we just came to a sort of agreement that we were struggling to make it work. You know, guys were buying houses and having family and stuff, and taking over businesses, starting their own businesses. And I was, we were all best mates, so it worked out pretty well. But I've always been one of these crazy musicians that puts music before everything in life. I've seen myself leaving jobs to go and play gigs and all sorts. And to be fair, I don't regret any of it. So that's definitely my life. That's all that I really enjoy. I'm at my best when I'm on stage or writing. Yeah. So I think I wouldn't change any of it for the world. That's for sure.
That's quality. Obviously, first time I seen you was supporting the Paddingtons.
That's right. Yeah.
I was lucky enough that I was there early, and I came in, and obviously I'd never heard these. I'd never heard the Barrel of Biscuit either. But I came in and I seen your set, and blown away by the voice and the kind of the performance on stage. That's why I wanted to speak to you. Just like for seeing that, it made me a fan of the band. So
I learned my craft during Oscar Braves, working with Grant Allen and the rest of the lads, the Connors and Andy and stuff. And Ross was probably what taught me a lot. Taught me a lot about being a front man, a lot about being a singer, about pushing myself to the, you know, like there was times I used to really push the vocal. I made the melody lines incredibly hard for myself, but I knew it was going to work better in the long run. So I made my voice a lot better than it was. I was pushing myself to the limit, but every time, you know, the more I practiced, the better it became, the stronger it got. And then, as I say, after we decided to call it a day, I started Dovv. So originally it was just me, myself, and a guitar. And I managed to get one gig under my belt. Just when was that? That was just before lockdown, I think, and it was sporting the Idols frontman,
right?
At a Q&A session in Edinburgh at Dr. Bell's Baths. That was Michael Ward again. Got me that. That was a great night, and that let me sort of play the songs and hear them to an audience, kind of thing, seeing what they thought. It went down incredibly well. And then it wasn't long after that, it was like sort of some of my mates were saying, look, it'd be good do you fancy having a guitar player, drummer and bass player? I thought, aye, definitely, this would be brilliant. So I went for that. It's a full band. There's been small lineup changes, but it was just mainly because it was never like fallouts or anything, because we're all really chilled. Like, there's any more laid back at the line in, man, it's mental. But
that seems to be the thing with all you guys in Fife. You all seem to just kind of jump about band to band. Obviously, when I was talking to Craig on the podcast, and he was telling me all about Twinstown and all these bands sharing members and all that. So
yeah,
it's but that kind of goes into the scene and how you all kind of help one another.
Definitely, we connect really well. We get on great, and it was always just like, you know, these guys were in other bands and stuff, and they were quite busy, and I didn't ever want to take that away from them. So I ended up with a new guitar player, Keir. He only started playing last year, and I decided to start giving him lessons every week during the summer holidays when I was off work. So I thought, right, he really was dying to be in a band. He was like, I really want to play guitar and I want to be in a band. I was like, well, let's go. So I've got a tour booked for October. You better get yourself working hard, eh? So every day, almost, I was around his house teaching him guitar, getting video calls at midnight asking about how to play certain chords and whatever. But you know, he done it, and that was from July. And then he came and I think we'd done 6 or 7 dates in the UK. Like we were in Liverpool, Manchester, Middlesbrough, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dundee, all over the place. And he was great. You know, it was really strange when I look back to it now, because you would never have thought that he'd just started playing. It was incredible.
That's crazy. It's testament to you then about how well you've taught him then.
I'm not the best guitar player in the world at all. I'm not the best guitar player. I don't know. I think I've just got a lot of patience for people. Sometimes maybe too much, Martin, if I'm completely honest with you. But I'm a very laid back person, very chilled. I never get involved in any dramas because I don't really care for it. And a lot of people will say to me, but you're like the front man and that. I'm like, but I'm not here to tell people what to do. I'm just, you know, I'm as much a part of the band as the rest of them are, because they're all really talented guys.
Yeah.
Like Lewis, the lead guitar player, he's absolutely incredible.
Who's that? The boy with the long hair?
Yeah, Lewis Monker. Yeah. He's nuts. Like even last night, he was tearing out some bits and pieces, and I just thought, Jesus Christ, you know, he's got it down to a T. He's an incredible player. And then Keir, he plays acoustic and rhythm guitar. He's only been playing for like a year. It's brilliant. Bass player Tom, he's the latest addition. He comes from a background of being in. He worked with Louis for Hector Berserk for a long time.
Yeah.
Played bass in Hector Berserk, and I met him at Grant's wedding. The guy that I was in Oscar Braves with. Grant knew I was looking for a bass player and sat me right next to him at his table. So that was interesting. Got chatting away. A week later, he joined the band. So it was perfect timing, almost.
It's nice to get a wee kind of history.
Definitely. It's like, even down to the drummer, Michael. It was like we were playing a live session and our drummer was moving to Manchester. I've got great luck when it comes to musicians. He was moving to Manchester. So we were dying to get somebody, and it wasn't until, I think it was the day before, we were doing this live stream thing, and it was about an hour set. At the Loop Maniac in Dunfermline.
Yeah. I watched that eventually.
Brilliant. I got in touch with Michael, and he was like, definitely, I'll do it, no problem. And he's still here a couple of years later, so it's worked out for the best. He's incredible. He was exactly what I was looking for as well. You know, I've played with a lot of drummers that kind of tickle the kit. He does the polar opposite, and if you're too close, you're going to go deaf. But it was what we needed, eh? It was like, you look at the drummers for the past, like the E Street Band, for crying out loud. You know, he puts the sticks through the thing every hit he makes. Incredible. But Michael comes from a past of being in dancing on tables as well.
Right.
He's got some stories about getting drum lessons off him, Michael Jackson's drummer and stuff, and all this crazy stuff. But they're all stand-up guys. That's what makes it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're really, really good lads to even sort of sit and write with and stuff as well. I think that's the next plan.
Yeah.
So the ideas for to do some writing and stuff over Christmas time and take a wee bit of time before we get back to it next year. The last gig of the year will be the 26th of November at PJ Malloy's, their headliner. We've got a few mates supporting the Voodoo Pilots and Ben Walker.
Right.
We met him last week. He's incredible. He's like Sam Fender sort of thing, but got this big massive voice. He's really good, really good. So glad I met him.
So when you go into the writing, what is your plans? Are you looking at another an EP or something like that? Because obviously on Spotify you get 3 songs on Spotify at the moment.
Yeah. I've just been releasing singles so far. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I think, for now anyway, I don't want to throw away too much. I'm quite enjoying just doing it single by single. And then when the right time comes along, I'll maybe do an album or something.
Looking forward to that.
Something to tick off the bucket list, really. I love the idea of albums, really. But I keep getting told, don't do an album, you'll be throwing away songs and stuff. But it's because sadly, there's not a lot of people now that will listen to a full album. But I love it, eh? And sometimes there's just no telling me. I am really laid back, but it's also if I've got something in my head, chances are it's going to go ahead. Right now, singles seem to be the way forward.
Right. So who's giving you the advice not to release stuff? Would that be like guys within the industry that?
Yeah, just mates and stuff that I've spoken to. That are sort of saying they're like, look, just if you're going to release an album, make sure it's the right time, kind of thing. And I've had that conversation with myself as well, and thought, is it a good time to release an album? And the answer is no. We're still quite we're a band in the early stages still. Although we've kind of got our sound sorted and stuff, I would rather wait until it was a good peak to release an album.
So, I mean, if you look back at, like you mentioned,
make or break it.
You mentioned Shambolics earlier. Obviously, they've brought out a lot of music. They brought out a lot of singles. So that model's working for them, I take it. So, yeah.
Aye.
So obviously, along with the music, you just started a new venture as well, cutting folks' hair.
That's it. Here I am as a barber now.
So was this because, obviously, musicians were struggling during COVID and all that, and one of the other industries that was struggling was barbers. So did you think, fuck it, I'll just do the full thing, I'll just struggle with it?
Just go completely mental. Pretty much. So before I was a barber, I was a support worker.
Right.
And like a youth work mentor for young people that were living in poverty and stuff. And it was great, really good, really enjoyed it. It's brilliant, done it for 10 years, for when I was like 17, coming right through to, 27. And my last job was in a local high school as a pupil support officer. And it was incredible. Some of the things that you see as well are really crazy that are going on in the world that could be stopped if that's a whole new story. But definitely. But it came at a time where summer holidays were coming up. The school lost £150,000 of their funding. And it was in one of the most poverty stricken areas in Fife. and they couldn't keep me on any longer. They were doing away with their support department almost. And I just thought it was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But it wasn't up to anyone in the school as such. It was, this comes for people that are way up high and don't actually see what's going on. It was ridiculous. But I was at that point, it was coming into the summer holidays, so I was going to get paid over the summer anyway. But I thought, right, I've been thinking about barbering for a couple of years. And it works hand in hand with the music because you work for yourself.
Right.
And it was at that time that Cameron Barnes put up a post looking for an apprentice barber at his new shop. So I chucked him a message and I was like, right, Cammy, any chance of getting me in here? And he phoned me, like, that was at the weekend, and he phoned me on the Monday. He was like, aye, you start next week. So that was it. But again, Cammy's a musician as well, singer.
Right.
He's doing incredibly well. He's all over the shop. I think he's just back from Switzerland. He's doing something over there. But he's all over the place all the time. But brilliant guy, really sound, gave me a great opportunity. And he totally understands the music thing as well. He's like, anytime you ever need off for a gig, take it. Says music comes first.
That's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, it takes us.
You can't ask for much more than that, really, can you?
Yeah.
But that sort of brings me right up to now. Enjoying it.
How are you getting on with the haircuts? Are you doing good?
Good, aye. I've had a load of my mates in. Some of them I never expected to come in because they're like, the lads that are maybe really take care of themselves and have been going to the same barbers for years, and they'd have a mental breakdown if their haircut got destroyed. But the reality is, anybody that's ever thinking about becoming a barber, is a lot easier than it seems. You're working to. There's a way of doing it, and once you get that nailed into your head, it's all a memory game.
Yeah.
And everybody's got eyes. Everybody could see if someone's not right. You could fix it, and you can't muck up a haircut unless you drive the clippers right over their head. Everything can be fixed. And that's what I was told on day one, and I never believed them. But here I am. I'm only 8 weeks in. I think I've done about 20 odd haircuts, and it's like it's becoming running like clockwork almost now. It's good. It's good fun, and it's not stressful either. I come home.
That's brilliant. Then all the best with your hair cutting.
It's surreal. Like, I never thought I'd ever see the day, but again, that comes from like my great gran was a barber. She worked in Kirkcaldy down at they had a shop with my great granddad down at the harbour, and that's sort of I used to get when I was like up until I was 5 or 6. She used to cut my hair. Then I heard the story, like my great granddad used to come off the boat for the RAF, and he used to go in and get his hair cut there. And then he was going all too often every week for his haircut, sometimes twice a week. Next thing you know, they got married, and the rest is history. But I was really interested in it. I think it was kind of in the family anyway. It was already a thing.
Yeah, that's a brilliant detail. So, obviously, you say your last gig's 26th of November and PJ Boys, and you're going to be doing some writing hopefully at Christmas, and then
definitely there'll be a new single coming in the new year.
That'll be excellent. One other question just before we go into your heroes. Obviously, you mentioned Callum earlier. I'm getting Callum on the podcast shortly. I've done half an interview with him, so we're waiting to do the other half.
Brilliant.
But the same kind of question that I asked Craig, how important is it to have guys like Michael Ward and Callum Trainer? How important is it to have these guys in the music industry?
It's absolutely imperative. I wouldn't be where I am, and probably half the guys about here in Scotland wouldn't be where they are without Callum Trainor and Michael Ward.
Yeah.
Because it's them. They put on some of the, they put on all the unsigned shows. Callum's had all sorts of people through that door at PJ Malloy's. From Lewis Capaldi to Jake Bugg, Miles Kane, Jerry Cinnamon. Christ, he's had them all. It's absolutely ridiculous. But he gave us all the opportunities with it as well. So like Catfish and the Bottlemen and Blossoms were on tour and they'd be playing at PJ's. He'd be like, I'll give you the support. I'll get you in. Just, and it was incredible to get the shout for that. Right through to Las Vegas, he put that on in a different venue and leaving. And he was like, I've put you down for the support. It was just ridiculous, eh? And then again, Michael Ward, he's had this EH6 festival. He had us playing all over the shop. Introduced me to some great people, So I met Kyle and stuff through Michael as well. Kyle Faulkner, he's a really good person, Learn a lot from these people as well.
Yeah.
But they're imperative to have in the industry. For young musicians.
Those two guys, I would like to just get a hold of their phones for a day and just go through their contacts. I would have every day of the podcast. I mean, Callum's so well connected, and I think he plays it down quite a bit as well. I think
he does. He does. He came and stayed with me and his brother during Trans, but I'm not kidding, it was probably one of the best weekends I've had in a long time. They're absolutely hilarious. Like sitting watching interviews of the last Shadow Puppets at 6 a.m, drinking rum for crying out loud. He just woke up and I was like, wait a minute, it's your birthday today, Callum. He was, oh Christ, so it is. We may as well have a drink. Well, we've had some brilliant times, if I'm coming in and we're all sitting smoking in the band room at PJ's and all sorts, and he's like, I'll just pretend I never saw that, I'll turn the fire alarm off. But he's brilliant, really good mate as well, really, really good friend. And Wardy as well, he's absolutely brand new. As I say, gave me the first chance to play the Dovv songs in front of people. And it was supporting the frontman at Idols as well. It was incredible. So they give us a lot of great opportunities, but they're great people as well.
Yeah.
I think if you get the chance, I'd go to Michael's running the songwriting camp with Kyle.
Out in
Alicante. I'm thinking about heading out to that next year as well. So
I seen the Shambolics were there as well, weren't they?
Aye, yeah, they were at one of them there, and Cammy was out the other week. He was out and said it was incredible. Because I was saying to him, I says, look, I'm going to go at some point. I'll just get all this barbering stuff sort of tied up and learn my trade a bit first before I start taking on other things. And he came back and said, definitely get yourself over there. That's an incredible experience.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to get Kyle and Wardy on to speak about that on the podcast. I'm trying to get Kyle for the last 2 years, trying to get him on a podcast, but he's hard to get. You can't get him.
He's a busy man.
Long enough. So, obviously, you're going out to play a gig just before you go. The podcast is called Time for Heroes. And I ask you to pick 4 heroes to come for dinner and what you're going to cook them. So, just what heroes and why they're your heroes. And I'm going to enjoy this because I think I'm going to enjoy listening to your heroes.
Well, number one, I'd invite Roy Orbison just because he seemed like an incredible stand-up guy. Even though he's probably one of the best singers that's ever walked the earth. Number 2, George Harrison. Again, seemed like a really nice guy, pretty chilled, liked his garden. Incredible songwriter.
See the shit he put up with as well in the Beatles is like
God,
the amount of songs that he brought to them and just get discarded.
Yeah, but then he released them like in his solo career. So glad he did, because aye, an incredible guy, incredible musician, great songwriter. Just seemed quite chilled. That was it.
Yeah.
Stir it up a bit, bring it back into the modern day. Someone that's not dead. Kelly Jones for Stereophonics.
Right.
Again, seems like a really cool character. Pretty chilled, very small guy, but what a massive voice. Comes in such a small man. It's incredible. Like, I'll speak to mates about it sometimes. Stereophonics are one of these bands that have stood the test of time. His vocals never changed in like 25 years.
If anything, they've got stronger, I think.
Aye, definitely. They released that last album there, and it was there's a track called "Running Around My Brain" that's on it, and it's so strange because I listened to the opening riff and I think, Christ, it's AC/DC, and then he starts singing. But you see him talking about it in interviews all the time. He was massively influenced by them. It was like the first album he ever bought. But I think he's a great guy, really down to earth, nice person. And the fourth person that I'd invite to this dinner, I suppose I'd have to bring wee Keir along for the band, because he absolutely loves and adores George Harrison, and I feel like he'd maybe kill me if I never invited him along. But aye, and what would I cook them? Oh, that's a good question. I'd probably make them steak or something just laid back and easy. It doesn't take too long. You could sit and then you'd get all the good chat out of them rather than stand in the kitchen for hours.
Yeah, it sounds like a good night.
Right in there, asking questions, loads of questions, like the travelling Wilburys.
Yeah, well, that's where I thought you were going with that when you said Roy.
Definitely.
I thought we're going to get the full lineup here.
Right, Tom Petty, Bob Dylan, Jeff Lynne as well. Jeff Lynne, he's a weird one, eh? Christ, he's never aged. I think it's the shades of it.
Yeah, God knows what's lurking behind them.
No, I wouldn't even like to know, because he's bound to be about 70, and he's never changed since he was about 20. Strange man.
Yeah. So that's been brilliant. I've took up plenty of your time. You're going out to play a gig.
Aye.
So it's a pleasure having you on. Where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you? Where's best to get in contact with you?
If you're looking for gigs and stuff, just hit us up on social media, or you'll find us on our email, dovv@outlook.com. Just give me a shout anytime if anybody's needing anything.
I'll post
to play a gig.
I'll post your links and stuff, Spotify links and stuff like that, so people can get a
definitely. We're always posting stuff on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and stuff, so feel free to give us a shout for anything.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Anytime, Martin. Thank you very much.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Time for Heroes podcast. If you would like to get in touch, the best way is on the Facebook page, Time for Heroes podcast, or on Instagram at Time for Heroes podcast, or Twitter at Time for Heroes P1, or drop me an email at timeforheroespod@gmail.com. You'll find Time for Heroes on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google and Amazon. Please leave a review where you can, share with others, and more importantly, enjoy.